Привет из Сингапура! С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about theory of decision making and let's start with the definition.
Theory of decision making is a quite well described theory, but not too many people know of it. When we make a decision, usually we are using just a program decision. So we were thinking how to do the same way we always do, or we are looking to another people who do the same job, and we make the same standard decisions. They are not improved, they are not flexible, they just usual, just business as usual, so-called. But if we will think and sit for a while, maybe we will find another ways how to make our deals better, how to behave more complex way, how to improve our style.
So what are the fundamentals and building blocks of the decision, and maybe additional thing, how exactly it could be qualified from the worth and to the most, the better optimized?
When we have a problem, we could find just a single way to solve it. And if we are lucky, it could be a good path. But if we know theory of decision making, we will build so-called decision tree. We will take into account all ways and all corners in which our path could be divided to three or more passes. For example, if I propose something to Maxim, he could say yes or no, or I don't know. In this case, I have three ways. And if I previously was thinking about it, I would make a further steps. But if I am not thinking about it, I just will trying to think close to Maxim, and maybe I will not found the best way. There is a saying in Russian language, it could be translated like to fight in the air after the negotiations, but it is not in use when you're trying to prepare yourself for complex negotiations, for complex deals. It is up to you to spend a time to find all the ways, to find all the graphs, to find all the passes, or to be lucky to find on the fly, to shout from the hip.
And when you mentioned the decision trees, I actually wonder how it could be related to the scenario analysis, which like could potentially help to figure out what is the good decision and how it could match with the theory of games, where you actually can see like which game is this, like that you're playing, you or your team. So what is the intersection between three of this?
It's a good word, intersection. There are several views on this point, on this stuff. Several people, several scientists, researchers, they think that scenario analysis, how to say in English, correct?
Scenario analysis.
Scenario analysis is part of the decision making. Some are trying to say that this is quite distinctive discipline, which is step aside. But in any way, for example, in School of Troubleshooters, we take the scenario analysis as a separate skill, but on the lessons by theory of decision making, I forced to show some basics of it. So I think there is a huge intersection. When we talk or when we negotiate or when we spend time with team or with some vis-a-vis, we should know that they are not always agree with us, and we should know how to find the ways to be closer to them, how to go to the same aim but not to fight.
Different decisions could be done on a different scale and maybe with the different dimensions like a time, or maybe people who would be like affected by this decision, or maybe different consequences that this decision involves. So what are the levels of mastery when it comes to the theory of the decision making?
First level is just to remember the good steps which was done by other people, for example, from history books or from manuals or from some fairy tales. Second level is always to think, is there any chance to find a better way to communicate with other people, how to cooperate with them? And third level is always to think I should find the better way. There is there is a lot of opportunities, but if I will spend some time, I definitely will find something new. What I was not noticed the previous time.
So you mentioned that all of the decisions that actually should be thought in advance before the moment when you actually need to decide, because I do believe when you need to decide something very fast, so as you always say, like the quick answer is no, and if not, like you will need to take time to think. So talking about the part when someone needs to think, what should be the strategy, framework, and the mindset when it comes to thinking about potential decisions that you would make at certain point of time?
Usually when someone is pushing you or asking you to do something or to take the decision, you should understand that it is a right time for those persons. So they are well prepared and they found the right moment for them. But this moment could be not appropriate for you. So first way is to delay, to make a delay. For example, you will say, I will answer on Monday, or I will answer tomorrow. If you really have time to think. If you don't have time, you could say, write your topics, write your key points, and I will think until I will go by car or by taxi by home or something like this. So never try to be одновременно, simultaneously, smart and also well managed. If you will take some part of your mind for the task, if you could manage to think about this like 10 minutes, you will definitely find something unusual and some ways which is much better than you was pushed by other people.
And when it comes to discussing the possible decisions, let's say with your teams or with the stakeholders, I do remember that you were teaching us that you should never discuss it with your team and the so on. But when it comes to having a different opinions or a different expertise before making a decision, what should be the approach here? Like, should you ask everyone in advance in more details as possible, or should you make like a concilium or even a brainstorm?
Yes, you're right. I always telling that never talk with your subordinates, because you are trying to ask advices, but they will think that you are hesitating, that you are not a tough guy. And you have several ways. First, to learn all subjects by yourself day by day, as you do, Maxim, in troubleshooter schools. Another way is to pay for some old guy who now is retired and who has free time and would happy to have some small amount of money for his advices. Those people have time, and if, for example, you will ask them at 5 o'clock, can I call you, John, about this topic after 2 hours? They always will say, yes, Maxim, for sure. Definitely, I will spend this 2 hours just to help you. And another way is to have good friends in different fields of knowledge and ask them, and also to be the same friend for them.
And when it comes to making decisions, let's say for the business, for the corporate life, or even for the personal life, what should be the mindset, approach, and the execution of those decisions?
In personal life, you have a lot of enemies. For example, you have a girlfriend and also her friends, and they also will give to your girlfriend advices. And if they don't like you, they will work against you. So you should be aware of it, and you should fight not just with your girlfriend, but also with their friends. When you have relatives, if some relatives are more rich than you, or they have some special authority in the region, they also will be tough than you. So you should be wise, you should be smart, you should think all the time that they are already like rape fruits, zrelый fruit, rape fruits, yes?
Juicy fruit, I would
Juicy
say.
fruit, yes. And they are think that they could catch everything on fly. But if you will, as we were talking several times, will spend 10 times more to take the decision, maybe your decision would be smarter and wiser.
And when it comes to the future of the decision making, probably is something that you already been talking about. Like how the technology could help us and how the AI could, step in and show us the right way of doing this. What will be the approach? Whether it will be a situation when if we put everything into the technology, at certain point of time, the light will be turned on and we will be in the darkness of our not so well educated mind, where like we will be like a small kids who actually can't really do anything. So what is the future and your take here?
I'm technician, but I'm afraid about this AI and high technologies, because you're right. Sometime we will get out of internet, get out of electricity, and we will be naked persons among the wolves. So it is a better way to not depend on these tools. Do not depend to the костыли.
Some support.
To not intend to use support. You should be by your own. You should work with your mind.
And the last question will be how knowing about the theory of the decision making could help make this world a better place.
When we see great people, when we see wealthy companies, we think how lucky they are. Maybe they are wise, maybe they know something, maybe they have a good strategy. But I always think if they will fire all the dumb people, they will be much wiser and they will be much wealthier. So if you see the results, never think that you couldn't make the same. If you will find another way, another ladder, maybe you will be in the same point much faster. I was doing this for several times. I was writing hackers editors. I was doing antivirus. Now I create a school of troubleshooters. And when I was starting, everyone was thinking that I'm some like a crazy person. But after 5 or 10 years, everyone thinking, "Oh, you have been thinking about it for a long time." Yes, for sure, it is decision making.
Стройте стратегию, готовьтесь заранее и принимайте множество правильных решений. А мы рассмотрели навык теории принятия решений и чем он полезен